session is called Decoding AI. And this was the curriculum which was selected from a pool of entries by ACM. ACM is Association for Computing Machinery. It's a very distinguished organization in computers. And they have a branch which is for promoting artificial intelligence, and it's called SIGAI, which is a special interest group for artificial intelligence. So they had this basically competition, and this proposal was one of those which was selected. So I hope you all will enjoy it. So let's start with this Decoding AI first session. So let's dive into the AI world. Okay. So Wiser was started in January 2019 to promote STEM and finance learning among kids and adults. And we have been running a lot of boot camps and enrichment classes. And it was originally started in New York and recently moved to South Carolina. So we also work with businesses, and we got the opportunity to file a patent with a business in IoT chatbots. So this is a website which you are free to explore the website to know more about Wiser. And you can always email at wiserllc@gmail.com. And this is about myself. I am the founder and CEO. My name is Vandana Srivastava. And I have two master's degree, one from Pace University in finance and one in computational mathematics from Arizona State University. I have worked in different domains. I have worked in industry as well as in academia. So I was working for a company, Tantive4, and then I worked for IBM as incentive analyst. And I have taught for more than 7 years in different engineering colleges in India. I was computer science, math, and finance faculty. And you can always explore me about myself. And this is the site which I have given you a link to. So let's discuss briefly about the class participation rules. I hope you all have been following this since a long time, but just as a formality, you have to be courteous. Don't write any offensive comments on chat box. I would request that you switch off your audios and video. You can write your questions on the chat box. If possible, I can immediately give you answer. Otherwise, I'll reserve last 10 minutes of the sessions where I will address your questions. And definitely, if something we didn't like, we would request the person to leave the session, or we'll be forced to remove the person from the session. Okay, so let's start with the description of the event. So we have 4 weeks, and this is the layout of the 4 weeks. So first week, starting today, we will be learning about AI and machine learning. And I'll walk you through the basics of AI and machine learning, with examples, and we'll see a lot of, if we get a chance, we'll go see the demos. We'll see a lot of, I will have given you resources where you can watch videos on your own discretion. And then we'll discuss about programming. I'll give you introduction about what exactly is data and what is the Python programming. So I'll give you a little basics, which we will be doing it in the next classes. So that is why today will be an introduction to Python. We will not be going into too much detail. We will discuss only the things which will be relevant for your coming sessions. Today, we will not be doing a lot of programming, but the next 3 sessions will require programming. And don't worry, I will make sure that you have the resources and you can program with me. So next week, we will start with data analysis. We'll discuss Python for data analysis. And I will introduce what exactly is open data. You must be hearing this a lot of times, that open data is very relevant in today's times. Then we learn how to download and clean the data before we start exploring and analyzing it. And then we'll end the session with visualization, where you present your results with the help of charts and graphs. And the last 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, we'll devote for student presentation. And it will be a presentation by a high school student who will be discussing, who has done project with under Wiser LLC. And they will show you how they downloaded the data which was publicly available, and then they did found some interesting insights from that data. Then we will move on to machine learning and the application of machine learning in analyzing the text. So we'll explore the Python packages. I will tell you how you can clean and prepare data. And then we can analyze how the text is analyzed to get the results and information from the text. And then again, there will be a student presentation where will show you how to basically how they use this text analysis knowledge and got some useful insights. And the last session will be, and this last session will be, we'll be creating a chatbot. Chatbot is basically a conversation agent. You must have seen in a lot of the websites, they have chat interface where you can write your questions and you can, the agent or the chat, they reply to your questions. So we'll create a chatbot, and we will use Dialogflow, which is a Google service, and it's a free service, so you don't have to worry about anything. And we will create it. You don't need too much programming in that. That is the best part. So you will enjoy that session a lot, that chatbot. And again, on the last session, we will be a brief presentation or a talk by the expert in AI. The person is a professor of artificial intelligence in a university. So he will walk you through the AI in general and discuss with you the ethical issues which come across when you are designing an AI system. So that is the layout of our next 4 weeks. And let's start today's topic, and that is Intro to AI and Machine Learning. So again, I see some new people joining the session. So I welcome them all, and let's start with the class today. So let's start with what exactly is artificial intelligence. And let's break the artificial intelligence into 2 words. One is artificial, which means nothing that anything that is not natural. Okay, that is something artificial is human made. And then we have intelligence. So basically, if you intelligence is associated, human intelligence is associated with how the brain perceives the information that is available around its surroundings. So these are the, if you combine these two, there comes the artificial intelligence. So basically, if you look at the formal definition, it says when you you make a system or you design a system or computers or machines, and that imitates the human, how the human brain behaves, and that makes it artificially intelligent system. And what are the different human traits which where brain is used? It's learning, problem solving, reasoning, logic. So these are some of the things that are associated with human brain. And if your system can imitate these brain functions, then it's called artificial intelligence. So this is a very simple definition of artificial intelligence. So let's look more closely. Next is with artificial intelligence. There is a one very important definition which I would like to tell you, and that is the concept of intelligent agents. So agents are someone who perceives the environment through sensors. They analyze the environment through sensors and then act on that environment through effectors. So let's talk about human agents. So as humans, we have sensors like eyes, ears, and other organs where we perceive or feel the environment, and then we act on that environment with our hands, legs, mouths, etc. Now, if we talk about the same thing, if we take the context of a machine, and that is a robot, the sensors can be camera or infrared finders or other means of getting the information. And it acts upon those by using various motors. So basically, the job of AI is to design the agent program. Okay, so that is the job of AI. And we have to the AI has to make intelligent agents who can take best action in a possible situation. So basically, we have to design such a system that it gives the best or optimum solution, or I can take action in this situation. So let's take a look at the history of AI. So AI was a field that was first mentioned by AI was not AI in 1950s. There were computers, so there is a computer scientist and Alan Turing, if you have heard that name. He came up with the idea that why can't we make our machines intelligent? Okay, and how we can test their intelligence. So in a conference, he proposed this idea in 1950s, and then people start working on that. So in 1956, John McCarthy was the scientist, researcher who came up with this term, and that is called artificial intelligence. So there, in the different conferences, when the idea was proposed, the researchers started brainstorming, and they started working on this idea. And then this field started evolving. So so you can see after 1950s, people started working on this, and then in 57 to 74, AI flourished. The main reason for this advancement was that computers started becoming more powerful, and then they could process more data in a given time, and they can store more data. So that is why the advancement started. And then in 1990 onwards, this research started getting momentum, and there were some very important and very notable incidents happened. And one of them was in 1997. IBM designed a supercomputer, Deep Blue, and the computer played against the chess master, Garry Kasparov, grandmaster. And the computer defeated Garry Kasparov. So this was it created a lot of stir in this field. And another notable incident was in 2011 when IBM again designed a system, AI system, and it was called Watson. And it won the Jeopardy contest. So I will give you a link, and you can watch that particular video where you will see how IBM Watson defeated the Jeopardy champions in the contest. And nowadays you can hear a lot of AI being discussed, and you can see that smart cars, Amazon is doing a lot of innovations in their shopping experience, giving customers a shopping experience. There are so many drones are coming. So there is a lot of AI is being playing a very important role in so many. So let's see the AI in action. Eliza, this was a conversation agent which was designed in 1964 by MIT Lab. So MIT designed this, and it's just a conversation agent. And I will show you the website where you can converse with Eliza. And then you will realize how, and then you can converse with your Siri. And then you will see how primitive was Eliza, because it was, most of the responses were hard coded. It's a very rigid kind of system. It will give you responses, but for most of the responses, it's clueless. It will take you, and after a while, it will start repeating the responses. So it's a very primitive kind of conversation agent. And then this is a link where you can see the Deep Blue beating Kasparov. So, which was, I already told you the background of that. And then Watson. And now you can see in 2000s, you can see a lot of things, because so many companies, there are so many innovations being done in AI, and we'll discuss, especially in the field of medicine, and we'll discuss that those things at a later point in time. Okay. So we have discussed about AI. Now let's see what are the different fields of AI. So AI is a broad field. So whatever, if you hard code some rules to any system and you program your machine to match any input against your given rules, then the system becomes AI. So basically, it's not very creative. So AI is the big umbrella, and when you start making your systems specialized, then it's start getting more and more advanced. And next comes machine learning. So machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and basically it uses some structured rules, and based on that rules, it basically becomes more specialized. And the best thing about machine learning is you improvise your machine by using the data. So if you give the data, so basically your machine starts learning from the data, and it starts improvising itself. So here comes the machine learning. And then again, the next step is neural networks. So basically, again, if you want to make sales predictions, if you want to manage the risk, you go to neural networks, which is again a super specialized kind of AI. And they use a lot of complex rules. In computer language, it's called algorithms. I'll explain what exactly are algorithms. And then comes the deep learning. So they are super specialized, and they continuously, basically when your system starts learning on itself, then it becomes it's deep learning. So we will not be covering a lot of, we will be focusing more on machine learning. And neural networks and deep learning, they are very complex, so we will not be discussing too much on these topics. We won't be doing that, but we will definitely explore machine learning in detail. So you can see the subfields of AI, how they progressed in the last few years. So as you can see, till 50s to 80s, it was AI. Just people were just trying to make their rules so that their machines can become intelligent, and they follow the rules and come up with some smart answers. Then we started, because as the more and more data started coming through, the machine learning started. Okay, and then again we went to more specialized version, and that is called deep learning, and which is started after 2010. So deep learning and neural networks are fairly new concepts. So let's start with machine learning. So let's see how I will give you a couple of examples, and we'll see how AI and machine learning differ. Okay, so let's take a simple example. And the simple example is suppose you have a playlist and you hear a lot of songs. So suppose your system, the playing system is just artificially intelligent system. So that system will recommend songs to you based on the number of copies sold, top 10 in Billboard list, just very generic rules, and it's going to recommend on that. So they are not very personalized recommendations, and definitely it's going to recommend it to everyone. It's a smart recommendation because now it has the rules are there that, okay, you will see which are the songs which are sold a lot, or which are the top 10 songs, or which are the Grammy award winner songs, or which are the songs that appeal to teenagers or a different age group or a different gender. So they will recommend you based on that, but those recommendations will be very, very generic. So this system will be smart, but not that smart. And then machine learning comes into picture. So now machine learning is basically the system will look at what kind of songs you have been playing or listening a lot. Okay. And then it will recommend it, okay, the similar songs. It can be a similar genre, it can be the similar singers, or it can also recommend you based on what kind of other people are they listening, what were the taste or the choices of other people with the same playlist or same songs, what kind of uh, choices are they making. So basically your machine learning, now you can see with this, the simple example, you can see what exactly is AI. And AI is basically strictly rule based, but machine learning is continuously giving you different inputs. So that is how AI is machine transforms into machine learning and how they differ. So basically you can see without machine learning, very specific instructions. So the left side is your AI system. You just feed the very specific instructions, so that is not machine learning. But on the right hand side, if you start feeding data, the machine will, your system will start improving, and it will improvise depending on the data. So the more data you give, it is continuously getting evolve. So here I would like to introduce one computer science, you can say it's a word, and which we definition, which is called algorithm. And I will be using this word a lot in the next couple of slides. So algorithm is basically a set of rules, and it is written. So as you all can see, a computer is a machine. It doesn't understand what we speak. So we have to write, we have to give, but we have to give it instructions. So how we are going to give it instructions? And for that, we have different kind of languages, which basically converts your text into machine readable form. So algorithm is basically a set of instructions which we write in the machine readable languages, and it is written So basically, you can say algorithms give you a step-by-step instruction to machine what uh, steps it has to take or what actions it has to take, and then your system machine works based on those set of instructions. So in layman terms, you can think of algorithm as a recipe where you know the inputs and you know what is your desired output, and then it gives you the steps that how you should be what different steps you should be following when you are doing if you want to get the desired result. So this is the definition of algorithms. We will not be going through over the algorithms, but definitely I would like to mention some of the rules which we use when we are designing the machine learning models. So let's now formally define what exactly is machine learning. So before that, we would like to define what is learning. So learning, you define machine is learning when their efficiency or performance is uh, or accuracy it's improved with a given time or data. So basically when we say that, okay, this is a very good model, that means it's my model is going to work. It's not creating a lot of errors in giving me recommendations. So that means accuracy or efficiency or the performance of my machine is very uh, it's up to a given range. Okay, because if your system, if you design a system which is failing 80% of the time, no, that's not a good system. So we have to improvise that system. How we are going to improvise it? We have to go back, change the parameters, change, or we would like to supply it with more data. Okay, so that is how we improve the efficiency. And data plays a very important role. So if you are continuously getting a new data so it's quite possible that your machine's performance or your systems. Now machine learning is, don't think it as a device. It's a program. Okay. It's a program that runs in a given machine. Okay. So that is how we define learning. So we say a machine is learning if its performing is improved. If the performance is not improving, it's not learning. So I hope, is there a question? Let me see if there is a question. Okay. So, so let's see what are the different types of learning. So in machine learning, there are three different types. One is supervised learning, and we'll discuss all of them in detail. Another is unsupervised, and the next is reinforcement. And we'll see examples of different kind of learning when we design different systems. So the system will be designed, it will totally depend on what kind of problem we have. So there is no hard and fast rule that, okay, we are going to design this specific kind of system. There are some, let's say, the broad rules, but there are no hard and fast rules when you are designing these systems. So let's discuss the supervised learning system. So there are two types of supervised learning system, and one is classification and another is regression. So basically, I will give you example, so it will be clear to you. I'll go to the example and then I'll come again I'll come back to again this slide so that it's clear to you. So basically, where output has defined labels. Now, defined labels means what? So suppose I want to, I have a data, I have a weather data, where the date is given and whether it's given what was the temperature, what was the weather, and what was the wind speed. And then we want to basically predict what kind of weather is there. So labels can be labels can be cloudy, hot, sunny, or it will be cold. So let's define. So basically, every input is given a different label, and the labels. So when we say labels, hot, cold, warm, cloudy, these can be the labels, or 0 and 1. So suppose we want to see if we are studying a phenomena where we say if this happens, it will be a yes, or if something doesn't happen, we will say a no. So yes and no becomes two discrete labels. So classification, we design a supervised learning classification problem will be something where we have a task where we have to find the desired labels, okay? And it has, the labels have discrete value. Now, it can be binary. Binary means it can have two values, that is yes and no values, or 0 and 1 value. Or it can be different labels such as I just gave you a weather example. Okay, it will be whether it's sunny or it will be warm, it will be cloudy. So it can be multi labels. So binary, I just mentioned. Then what are the few examples? So basically, the example can be if you want to predict whether US will win or lose a football match. So we have a binary variable where it's win or lose. So we have two discrete values, whether it's going to win a match or lose a match. Or like in email classification, we have different filters. So we have spam, junk, and then when you, uh, by default, Google classifies their Gmails into social, promotions, inbox, or primary emails. So these are the sum of the classifications. So they are using machine learning to classify any given email into these different categories. Now next is regression. Regression is if you want to predict a continuous value, where output is my continuous value. Continuous value means any number. So it is, again, we are trying to uh, get an output which can take decimal values. So generally regression problems are those. Suppose I want to predict the temperature 2 days from now or 3 days from now. So I will use a regression model. Okay. And how are we going to measure the performance of my model? We use the error technique. Now these are complex mathematical values which automatically you don't have to do it and calculate it by giving inputs. Luckily, we have systems, we have codes which you can reuse it, and it automatically, when you use those codes, it gives you errors and gives you the accuracy or performance of your model. So by just looking at the those values, we see if my model is doing good or not. Okay, and we make a regression model. So basically, generally we use it for stock market prices, weather prediction, etc. Okay, so these are the two different types of. So let's see this example. Now, as you can see, we have a data set. So this is our table. And as you can see, there are some, it has 5 columns. So it has different column names, gender, age, salary, purchased. Now we have, as you can see, this is a classification problem, because we are classifying, it's a binary classification problem where we have put two labels, 0 and 1, whether the person has purchased, which is given value 1, or not purchased, which is a given value 0. Okay, so if we want to if we want to get the output, and if we have to find out whether and we want to predict that, okay, next set of data, whether it's going to purchase or not purchase, then we will be using the classification machine learning. Okay, and we will be using the algorithms or the rules or the codes which are related to the classification machine. Now let's talk about regression. As you can see, the temperature, pressure, relative humidity, and wind direction, wind speed. Now here I want to predict the wind speed. So suppose I want to predict that, okay, what will be if I give another value, or if I give any random temperature, pressure, relative humidity, based on all these points, data points, what will be my wind speed? So basically we are using machine learning to predict. Okay, here we are using machine learning to predict what will be the value of wind speed for different data points which are not there now, but they can come. So we will be able to predict it better. And as you can see, my wind speed is a number which is continuous because it's a decimal number, and we'll discuss about those definitions when we are discussing data. So, so these are, in this particular situation, I'm going to use our regression model. So these are the two, basically, just by taking a look at the data, you can see which are the two situations where supervised learning because we have already have the data available, and these are the two different types of supervised learning. Now let's discuss unsupervised learning. Now unsupervised learning is where we are not doing any basically prediction. We are not doing any prediction, but we are doing some different set of tasks, and that is called unsupervised learning. And clustering and association are the two types. So what is clustering? So basically clustering is when we want to we have the data. Definitely we are discussing about machine learning. So basically, so we already have the data. Now we look at different groups or clusters in our data sets. So there are different algorithms which can find clusters for you. Okay. So if we want to find the groups in the data, we use clustering algorithms. And the example of this is if you group different customers by their purchasing behavior. And you must have seen that this is done a lot in different, because Netflix and Amazon, they use a lot of these unsupervised learning algorithms. And then association. So if X is doing, then Y will also do the same thing. So basically it studies the patterns and see and try to match the patterns. So, and then it starts giving, so basically it associates the data points. So if X is buying this, and so X has this buying pattern and Y has the similar buying pattern, then they are going to, it's going to match, associate those two people. So that is by association. And as you must have seen it a lot in Amazon, because it recommends, says that people who have bought this have also bought this, and it gives you a lot of recommendation based on your purchasing or browsing history. So they use association algorithms. Third is reinforcement learning. So basically, so what reinforcement learning is? Reinforcement learning is In simple words, you can say that there is a award associated, and you try to uh, exhaust or explore all the possible options and see which one takes you towards your reward. Okay, so that action may generate uh, either a reward or a penalty, and I will give you an example that will make it more clear. So at every step you explore one option that will take you toward your reward and see if it is relevant, or it takes you to your reward, or you don't take your. So you get back to your original position if it doesn't take you closer to your reward, and it learns from experience. So the simplest example is this. So we have a cat. So definitely we cannot ask, the reward for the cat is a fish. We cannot tell our cat that, okay, go and get the fish. So here we are assuming that cat is the agent. So cat is the agent and reward is the fish. There are different states, and the states are either you can sit, you can walk, you can run. These are the different states which the action which the cat can take so that it gets closer to the reward. And the environment is basically your house. So cat decides. So whatever action cats take, whether it wants to sit or if it is sitting, it's not going to reach to the reward. So it's discard that situation. Well, walking is going to take towards its reward. Yes, it's going to make it closer to its reward. Or whether running, yes, it will take it faster to its reward. So that these are the different situations where it can take you to the your reward, and that is called race. So basically it is continuously learning from the different paths which it takes to go towards its prize. And again, this is another example where agent and this is from a game. The problem is we have an agent which is a robot, and as you can see, it has many hurdles. There are several parts which takes to the diamond. Diamond is the reward, and there are several hurdles. As you can see, the fire is the hurdle, and it is placed at different places. Now, agent will decide which path to take, which takes it closer to the diamond. So basically, it will ultimately find a better way, because if it goes to the top and then turn right, it will hit a fire. So it's going to come back to the earlier position, which is the second. So as you can say, it can go from, so it can go from here to here and then turn, so it doesn't meet any hurdle, so it's going fine. And then it turns right, and then it sees that there is a hurdle, so it will come back, and then it will turn here. No, it gets a reward because it's closer to its price, and then it again moves here. So basically, everything is being done by an algorithm, and this is what you program. So, and then again, if it moves forward, it's going to hit a hurdle, so it's get a penalty, and then it moves to this, or it can move to this direction, and again, so it's going to explore all the paths in its way. So these are some of the applications of reinforcement learning, and it's very much used in industrial automation, where they design robots and for specific jobs. And again, it's a machine learning problems, so it's use machine learning. I've seen it being used in creating games a lot. So these are some of the examples of reinforcement learning. Okay, now let's see what are the different steps. How do you perform a machine learning task? And it's a very interesting problem because you have data, okay? And so first you decide what basically your goal is. So whenever you are doing any kind of, you want to achieve any task with, you want to get an output, or you have, first you have to decide what should be your desired output. And when you fix your goal, then you start choosing your algorithm as well as your process for uh, writing programs, or the steps will be determined on your output. But in machine learning, if you decide that, okay, I want to do some machine learning, I want to apply some machine algorithms, there are several steps. So if you have, so first thing is you look at your data, you get the data, you look at your data, you fix your output or your goal, and then you start doing this. So this is the first step. First step is to train your data. And how is it then done? So as you can see, we have already seen that, okay, machine learning is your system is learning from the data. But how is it learning from the data? So you have to train your data. So the general for training the data, we generally follow this norm. We split our data randomly into 70-30 ratio or 75% to 25% ratio. So basically, in other words, you can say if you have 10 data points, you split it in 7 in the training set and 3 in the test set. Okay, so the split is generally 70-30 or 75-25. Now, the good news is that you don't have to do it manually. There are codes. So when we will be doing Python programming, I wish I could show you the machine learning program, but when we do it, there are some codes which take care of everything. You just have to write one line of code and they'll split your data into 3 test and training set. So that is the good part. So the first is you have the data, you fixed your goal, and then you started training your data. And for training your data, you split your data set into 2 parts, random. Now this is being run at the back end. You are not seeing it. The data is automatically split into 2 parts, training set and test set, by the program you are using. Okay, so you don't have to worry about it. And it is done randomly. So your algorithm takes care of splitting it randomly. Next is build the model. So the different machine learning algorithms are used. So in supervised learning, we use support vector model. There are several types of machine learning algorithms, and it's your choice which you want to use. There are no strict rules or fixed rules in choosing your machine learning algorithms, but definitely when you are using a classification problem, the algorithms will be different. Regression, the algorithms will be different. Okay, so you have to know about all those things. So your model, you are fine with it. Again, your code is going to take care of building this model. Okay. Now test this model. Now how you are going to test this model? So we are going to test this model on the test data. So the 30% data, which is randomly being stored in the test data. So it will be your your model will be applied on that data. Okay. And then we will see what is the difference between the actual output, which was already there, and then what will is your model giving the output. Okay, and then we are going to compare it with the actual output to see what is the accuracy of your model. So if you are thinking, oh my god, this is too complex, I'm not able to get that, I will just show you these steps in a very simple example so that you understand. And then you validate the model. Okay, now how will you validate the model? You will see the accuracy, and you will then match it with your desired goal. Is it fulfilling my desired goal? If it's not fulfilling, if it's my machine learning model is giving me a lot of errors, means my predictions are far away from the actual values, then this is not a good model. That means I have to go back, either change the algorithm or change, I will again run the uh, program so that my training and test data changes or my input values change. Or should I delete some input values? Should I add some input values in the data or in the training and testing model? So this you have to decide, and this comes from experience. Okay. So so whenever, if you do, the students, especially if you are if you would like to work on any problem, it's always good that you start with, try to recreate the problems which are already solved. So we will discuss that. I will give you resources where you can just go, and people have solved it for you, and you can just go, just follow the steps what they have done, and then you will be able to understand more that how these problems, and why should I be using this model, and why this model is not fulfilling my goals. So this is a very simple example. So I've tried to recreate this uh, and to just explain you the simple machine learning method, what are the different steps. And I'm pretty sure the real world problems are much more complex than this, but definitely you will get an idea how these things work. So on the left, as you can see, on the left, there is our data set. And it consists of two columns where X values and Y values are given. So I want to build a model on values of Y, because I want to predict what will be the values of Y, and I want to make a model. So as you can see, this data set has 20 entries with X and Y values. Now I split the data set randomly into two parts, 25% and 25%. And so 15 entries I I put them in training data set, and then all the black entries represent the test set. So 5 out of 20, 15 are in training and 5 are in test data, training set and test set. Now, if you just look at this data set, you can quickly guess that the value of Y is twice the value of X in most of the cases. In most of the cases, there are very few. So my machine learning build this model, that X equals to 2Y. Now, in all these things, a lot of math goes into it. So the models are basically mathematical models. When I say machine learning models, they are basically mathematical models. Okay. So, so as you can see, just to make it very simple, I have taken this model, and as it's readily, it's very just by taking a look at the data set, you can see X is equal to 2Y. So we are assuming that we applied a machine learning algorithm, and then we came up with this X equals to 2Y. Now I want to validate this model. So what did I do? I ran my model X equals to 2Y. I in my test data set. And as you can see, 1, 2, 7, 14, this is my 10. So 1, 7, 9, 12 and 19 are my values of x. And I already have the actual input. So sorry, I already have the actual output, but my model gave me these values. And the model was x equals to 2y. So it looked at the values of x, which was 1, 7, 9, 12, 19. And the model was x equals to 2y. So it gave me these values. So these are called the calculated values. Now I would like to find the difference. As you can see, this was correct, this was correct, this was correct. So there was no difference between the actual values as well as the values calculated by my model. But as you can see, for this particular values, there is a difference of 5. And that is going to give me, and that is where my efficiency is affected of this model. So basically, my model gives me average error of 1. So I can say that 1 is this average error gives the accuracy of my model. 1 is a small number, so we can say, okay, my machine learning model is quite accurate. So when I decided, okay, I'm going to keep this model, so I can always use this model to predict for new values of x. And in this case, I have taken it to be 24. And definitely it's going to give me 48. Okay. So this is how we use the machine learning model. And these are the different steps which we use when we are doing, this is how basically everything happens at the back end. We just have to call the different modules and use them in our program, and then we can get with a model. But in real world, the things are not as simple as it is here. So a lot of complex, your data set will be huge. There will be more parameters. Now x is a parameter here which predicts the values of y. X is a parameter which predicts the values of y. So basically there can be many more values which are using as inputs. So that is why it's not, it will be a complex process, but then the flow, the steps will be similar to these steps. So I hope you get that and you understand how different machine learning algorithms work behind the scenes. Okay, now we have learned enough about AI and machine learning. So this is a time when I will be giving you a little quiz.